to our first fight of the day. And this is light contact over 5 1-minute rounds of action for the BLCC Midland area under 35k title. So would you please welcome into the red corner, fighting out of the Platinum Gym, Callum Taylor. Into the blue corner, fighting out of the BKA, Aiman, Shaid. Five 1-minute rounds for the BLCC Midland area title. Taylor in the red, Shaid in the blue.
So we are here at Midland Mayhem 6, and with me, Kasim the Dream begging. Kaz, it's just great to be back for Midland Mayhem, one of the best shows in the full contact scene.
Yeah, it definitely is. Definitely is. It's good to see that the show's back now.
And we start with light contact over 5 1-minute rounds of action for the BLCC Midland area title. In the red corner from the Platinum Gym, Callum Taylor. His opponent in the blue, Aiman Shaid from BKA. Referee, Mr. Neil Kelly, gets them going. And again, there's a real skill level to light contact, Kaz.
Yeah, there is. I've seen Aiman fight a few times before.
And with 1-minute rounds, as you're seeing here, it really is a sprint, and both young men, as you expect, coming out very, very fast indeed. But the judges, they'll be looking for good hand and feet contact together, won't they?
Yes, they will. And the good thing about the BLCC is they're also judging defence and movement too.
So, centre of the ring, Callum Taylor, but forced back by Aiman. Like yourself, I've seen Aiman fight before, and 3 rounds, he'll just keep coming.
He will. They both have to fast pace.
And Kaz, as a breeding ground for young fighters, this like continuous system and this sort of arena is perfect for youngsters coming up through the ranks, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. This is the same circuit that I started on coming up, and even till now I'd still be fighting on the light con shows just to get some good ring time.
Good response from the crowd as well to 2 very talented young men. This for the area title, and very similar in style, Kaz. When we looked at them both over the opening round, very similar style, both very fluid, both wanting to take centre ring, neither wanting to give much ground.
No, yeah, it'll be good just to see now who can pull away and bring something new to this round now.
When you were in the like continuous circuit and you got back to your corner at the end of the round, what would your coach say to you when it was something like this, when he knew both of you were very similar in style and really very hard to separate after the first round, knowing there's only 2 to follow?
Yeah, I think the first round, because it was at such a high pace, I think the second round now, I think both fighters will try and work each other out. Probably one would probably step back and try hit with the cleaner techniques.
So as we said, 2 more rounds to go, 1-minute duration. Won't be a problem for either of these young men, especially with a title belt at stake. Both got very good followings here this afternoon. And here we go with round 2. And Aiman immediately in with the front kick, but a nice spin there from Callum.
Yeah. I think Aiman just getting the body kick off just before. Callum's coming back strong.
And again, as we see there, the hands come high, the feet come underneath. Perfect technique for light contact here. And I said, I'm impressed with both young men, but rightly, as you say, that front kick from Aiman is a real winner.
It is. Nice double kick there from Aiman.
Well, this is what you look for, as Kasim was saying in the opening round. You look for a bit of daylight between fighters in the second. And I've noticed a man moving before he engages as well now, and just getting off those, I think, punches and kicks maybe just that bit earlier here in the second.
Yeah, it looks like Aiman's trying to land them cleaner techniques now.
And again, the Superman punch in the left roundhouse finds the target, and there is just beginning to be a little bit of daylight between the two fighters here in the second. And it's definitely a change of tactic from Aiman.
Yeah, it definitely is. I think Aiman's getting success with that intercept jab.
And fluid legs, especially off that lead leg. I mean, at that age, a lot of the youngsters rely on the back leg, but Aiman's using that lead leg very much like a jab.
Yeah. He's either coming in with that lead leg or he's intercepting with that jab with the right one.
And again, that lead leg roundhouse finds its target again. And it's not that Callum isn't doing the right thing, it's simply that Aiman has switched tactics successfully, because in the first round they both met in the middle and continued to battle it out. Aiman's picking his shots and the timing. And for me, there was daylight between the two in that round.
Good round from Aiman there. I think he just showed his skill set there.
Now the difference we feel in this second round was a change of tactics from the blue corner. In the first round, the whole bout was in the centre of the ring, wasn't it, with both exchanging heavy shots. This time Aiman only exchanged when he wanted to, and he used that lead leg to keep his opponent away and then came forward, and it was a really worthwhile change of tactic.
Yeah, it was. It was good movement from him, staying off the centre line.
Now, if you're in platinum corner there talking to Callum, they'll probably think he's down. What would you say for this third and final round to the red corner, having seen that second round?
This what me personally, I'd say get close to him, keep that work rate on him, because where he's trying to stand off, I think Aiman's always landing the cleaner techniques.
That's a good point. I mean, as I said, there's been nothing wrong. I mean, you can see Callum's got superb technique. He's got incredible energy. It was just the change of tactic that we felt took the second round away from him. So it'll be really interesting to see if Callum can now adapt himself in this third and final round. Oh, sorry, it's not the final round, it's 5 because it's a title fight. Yeah. So still plenty of time. And as you said, he came straight in.
Yeah. That's it. It looks like Callum's looking to just shut him down now.
You're right, the left and right legs going in the hands. And again, I love it when youngsters this young listen to their coaches and we see change of tactics even at this level. And a nice spin to the midsection. Aiman responds as well, but what it means is this fight has come very close again, Kasim, because I feel that the Platinum have said virtually what you said: get close, work hard and fast, and Callum's work rate has certainly increased here in the third again.
Yeah, I think he's getting the most of success with that high work rate and getting close to him.
But that said, as you saw, when you do that, you still risk the counter, and that lead leg, lead hand of Aiman is still very accurate.
Looks like he can't miss with that now every time.
Well, the thing is, because of what Callum's been told to do, Aiman's going to know where he is, isn't he? It's just about timing now for him. He knows he's going to come in there. He knows he's going to try and work. For Aiman, it's just about timing at the right, and that was perfect example of that.
It's a good movement from Aiman now. He's doing the right thing, staying off the centre line.
And you heard the call from the Platinum gym: close him down, close him down. They've realised what he's doing. They've realised that he's skillful on the outside. And it is a good call, but saying it's one thing, doing it's another.
It is. I think will Callum have the fitness to keep that for another 2 rounds? So.
Well, Casino, I'm not saying he took the round, but Callum's change of tactic worked, especially for the first half of that round. And then it seemed to me that Aiman figured that out again, so a much closer round again.
Yeah, it is. I think that was much closer than the second round. It'll be good to see how he comes out for this round.
That's right, 2 still to go, 4 of 5 coming up for this, the Midland area title. And 2 superb young men in there, and it's great to see at such an early age already thinking fighters, changing tactics, listening to their coaches. These are all things that will stand them in very good stead over the years.
I think both fighters are showing the experience here now.
So on our unofficial scorecards, because obviously there's 3 very experienced judges scoring this on our official card, I think it's fair to say we've got Aiman at least the 1 round up, depending how the judges see rounds 1 and 3, possibly 2 rounds up, because Callum started very well in the third, and then Aiman sort of like sussed that out again, didn't he, and got that distance and timing right once more. So Kasim Beg has asked the question, can Callum Taylor keep up the fierce work rate he put into the third, because he really did step up a gear there in the third with 2 still to go. And the man's in a groove. I imagine in his corner, Chris would just be saying, keep up this, still do this. Just keep that movement and pick him off on the way in.
Yeah, that's it. I think the good thing with Aiman that he can stay with the worker on the inside too.
And again, I'm impressed with his shot technique and his timing. And for me, the sole difference between these 2 young men at the moment is the timing from the blue corner.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's the biggest thing is the way Aiman's landing in clean shots for all the judges to see. I think that's what Callum's missing.
And it's with that lead leg and that lead hand. And again, picking up on something you said earlier as well, for someone so young, he comes off the centre line so often, which stops you building up a head of steam against him as well.
Yeah.
And he did it again. It's just a little subtle switch this time, but it takes you out of range. Nice spin kick there, though, from Callum, side kick. Still in this bout. But what you feel Aiman has done now is he's made Callum just that bit hesitant to come in, because every time he comes in, that front leg's there or that front hand's there, and you can almost see Callum thinking of ways to come in now, which makes that slight hesitation.
Yeah, it is, definitely. I think that was another round for the blue corner.
And I agree, there's not much between these 2 young men, that's clear to see, but the subtle difference we feel in the commentary position is the timing, which makes the cleanness of the shots, especially in the first half minute of that round. Aiman's lead leg found the target every time.
Yeah, that lead leg and his intercept and the jab too, is like you said, it's making Callum think, well, what can he come in with?
And when he's thinking, Aiman is then scoring. But as I said, win or lose, we've got 2 very talented young men, and you look at them and you think if they want it, they've really got a future in this sport.
Yeah, they definitely have both.
So we are coming up to the 5th and final round, and on our scorecard, Callum really needs a huge round. Now in the second, he managed to shut Aiman down. He's got to try that again, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he has to get on his chest and stay on his chest, because I think trying to fight from the distance, I think Aiman just landing the cleaner techniques.
And what we did see was even when he is tight on the inside, Callum can still get those legs going. He landed left and right roundhouses close. But the problem for him will be getting inside Aiman, because his timing and distancing has been so good. And again, he's now got that confidence to stand and exchange with Callum, because he probably feels he's 2 rounds to the good. But this final round has certainly got the crowd going again, Kasim.
Yeah, it looks like Aiman stepped up his workout too, just to seal it.
Well, it's something we've seen from you in the past as well. When you know it's the last round and you know you've done good work, that's when we've seen you look to possibly finish or put on a show in that final round.
Yeah. Because the thing is, that with me, is like I always go for a strong finish. Like I try to get stronger as the fight goes on.
Because that said, you can't always guarantee that the judges are seeing it your way, can you?
Of course.
So it's a good lesson for the youngsters here. Never take for granted that you're ahead on points. And to be fair, Aiman hasn't, just like Kasim was saying. And it makes for a great final round, because I think Callum has stepped up his game again here in the 5th.
He has. Showing great heart, Callum is.
And again, pushing forward, looking for the lefts and rights. Has to take to get in there, but he is landing as well.
It's a good movement again.
And a good solid left as he stepped in. And that for me is the subtle difference between these 2 young men on the night, is the timing for me of Aiman Shaid, who I think is going to take this.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, before I make this announcement on this one, 2 things. The first is what 2 fantastic young men to start the show. 5 rounds. The second is I've been informed that these two young men put on such a show because this is for the English, not the area title. So one last time before I make the announcement, please, both young men come here. But we do have a unanimous decision, and the English title belt goes around the waist of the young man from the blue corner.